John is also a dear friend of Florida Tech, and we appreciate his time always. So let's get the conversation started. Please welcome your moderator, John Zarrella.
Good afternoon, and thank you all for being here. This is really an honor for me to be doing this. I have a great love of the space program, and again, covered it for all my years at CNN. I heard Frank DeBella. Where's Frank? Is Frank here? Hi, Frank. Frank and I have a love of good Italian food, don't we, Frank? I don't want to waste any time, so let's get right in. I'm going to introduce our panelists, and then each of them, after I introduce them, will tell us a little bit more about themselves before we actually dive right into this panel discussion. So first, let me introduce James and Jimmy Jenkins. Jimmy. Lauren Ann Graham. Lauren? And Winston Scott. Winston? We're all going to be there, so I think these mics will pick us all up. We'll be good. That's the plan anyway, right? We can put them in on the moon, but we can't get the mics in. We'll be good. So, Jimmy, you want to start us off? A little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm honored to be here. Thanks so much to the institution for inviting me to work with. I was in the Army for 28 years, basically air defense and some space operations. And then I've been in the industry for about 12. And a lot of my industry time has been based on the things I did in the military, primarily offensive space control, communications in space, and other kinds of military applications in space. And I'm currently in a great job in a small company trying to make a difference for our nation.
Hi, I'm Lauren Ann Graham. I'm a recent alum here actually at Florida Tech, but I've been in the industry for quite a few years now. I have a dream of going to space one day, and so Florida Tech was the perfect option for me. But in the past few years, because of my Florida Tech experience, I've just been open to some pretty incredible opportunities. I was in the Launch Control Center for the Artemis 1 launch and got to see the maiden launch for that. And then now I'm actually testing the Orion spacecraft, which is NASA's spacecraft that's going to take humans back to the moon. So I get to be in and outside of that vehicle every single day, making sure its systems are working.
All right, good. Thank you, and good evening. As you already heard, I'm trying to stay in for Joni Higginbotham, but if you take a look at Joni, I'm a poor substitute for her. She's probably a whole lot nicer looking than I am. But Winston Scott, a former NASA astronaut, actually spent 27 years of active duty in the Navy. I was a naval aviator, and then selected by NASA for spaceflight training. Flew 9 days on Endeavour and 16 days on Columbia, and then 3 spacewalks. During my tenure, we were preparing to build the International Space Station. So our spacewalks had to do with testing tools and equipment techniques that astronauts later used to build the space station. After leaving active duty, I directed the Space Authority here, Florida Space Authority. It's now called Space Florida. You probably know that name. Then I worked for Jacobs for a couple of years, and then spent 15 years here at Florida Tech, as you heard during the introduction. I failed retirement, so I have a position of the Kennedy Space and Physical Complex as the director of programming for the astronauts that come on center of the Physical Complex. So it's a pleasure to be here with you this evening. Thank you.
Thanks to the three of you for being here with us. We know it's going to be really good. Now, there's so much talk right now in what is in the news right now. Layoffs, potential layoffs, what's the future of the Artemis program? There's an asteroid,